Today I'm going to introduce you to Nellie. Hey, first off, I want to introduce my guest. I've got Dave Powers here with me. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how you doing, Steve? Good to have you. Good to be had, rather.
Dave has been playing guitar for over 30 years, and he's got Mountain City music that he does. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an entrepreneur. I always struggle with that word.
You nailed it. I can't figure out how to spell that word, truthfully.
But I've got him here to demonstrate these guitars, but I want to tell you first up that these guitars are exciting for me. I mean, normally I build a guitar and it's a custom one-off. Okay, so it's a pre-order, a commission build as it were, okay, and I'm building it for someone, and if I do a demonstration video, it's already sold. These two are not sold.
Except for maybe after today when I try to buy one.
These two were created as a beginning development in my class that I teach, and where they're required to build a Telly or Strat style guitar, and I started building Tellys in the class for the demonstration builds, and then I went off kind of rails a little bit, and I said, well, how extreme can I make these Tellys? Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what I started developing, and I'll tell you straight up, I love these guitars, both fit, form, function, style, playability, sounds, everything so much that I'm going to make these into a production model of Maximum Guitar Works. It's really going to be my first production model that I start making.
When I hear Steve say, I'm about 97% loving this guitar, that's a big deal because this guy pays attention extremely to the perfection aspects of this. I mean, he just dives way deep in. I can't wait for him to tell you all the cool stuff that he's put into this. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I went top notch on every single component on this guitar, and I want to talk about some of them a little bit. First off, you can see that these guitars are strongly based upon a Telecaster. Okay, very familiar shape that's been around for 70 years that most people are very familiar and comfortable with is what based these. And also I went with the 3 pickup as influenced by the Nashville style Telly, hence Nellie, the name.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, but in addition to that, I kind of am attracted to the old Telly Deluxes and the larger format, you know, pickguard. I just think just has a cool look to it. So I decided to go with that route as influence too, but I changed up the configurations a little bit rather than 4 knobs at the bottom that are all tightly crunched together and it's hard to get your fingers around the right one, with a little different design there. But let me tell you about all the features, and then I'm gonna have Dave go through and play all the tones and try to get the sounds and try to show you and demonstrate to you the features in these guitars and what they can do for tonal variety. Both have Rio Grande brand pickups, okay? That's basically one of the original boutique pickup companies out of Houston, Texas, and they're just beautifully crafted and wonderful sounding pickups. On this one, I've got the Muy Grande pickup. Did I say that right?
Muy grande.
Okay, you got to say it with that flair. Okay. So I've got that in here, and this is a Telly Strat Telly, so a TST. So this is called the Nelly TST because it's got that pickup configuration. That is just basically a beefed up set. So it's a little bit higher output, but it can clean up nicely too.
Yes, you can.
On the other Telly style guitar, Nelly TSS, it's got the Dirty Harry series of Rio Grande pickups on it, which really kind of have that extra low to mid boost, kind of giving it into the range of the P90 world. And it's got the Telly, the Strat, and the Strat, so a TSS version of the Nelly guitar in there. So that's going to be one of the biggest differences between these two guitars. Now in the future, when I go into production, I'm also going to make a rear access model of this guitar with the cavities on the back so that we can use highly figured woods and not have any pickguard kind of blocking the view of that pretty wood. And then I'm going to also make other models. This is what I'm going to be calling the Nelly Turbo Series. Turbo Series will be every trick in the toolbox loaded into these guys.
Love it.
Okay, I'll make a standard series that maybe doesn't need all of the extra tonal choices of this, and then one that's kind of in between the two that has some but maybe not all, and I'll call that my hybrid series. So there's going to be 3 different versions of these 2 basic designs for sure. Now, when we look at these individually, let's talk about some of the features. I already talked about the body shape, very classic, it's very traditional, but it's got a lot of comfort curving to it. It's got the forearm contour, it's got a full 3/8" radius front and back, more Strat-like, but it's very comfortable in that regard. It's also got exotic neck woods on both of these guys. So the TST has got a wenge neck to it with the ebony fretboard. We've got a Bobinga exotic wood neck on there with an ebony fretboard. Both of them have an oil finish that makes them slick and smooth and thin, and it's easy to connect with. The other difference is that between these 2 is actually in the bridge assembly itself. Now I went with Super V. This is the Super V Maverick series, and a company that's right out of Colorado Springs, which is kind of cool. And they've been making these for 13 years and got a really good solid reputation. Their idea is, we like the Telly bridge, but we wish it had a tremolo. And so they made it.
Amazing.
And these things are pretty cool. On the oh, by the way, this color, it's called Barbie Blue.
No
Sparkle.
kidding.
Barbie Blue. The story behind that is I was showing my my son this guitar, who's in his mid-20s, and he said, I don't like that color, Dad. It reminds me of a Barbie doll. And I'm like, well, that's a great color. Barbie Blue Sparkle.
Perfect.
On that. It's got a holographic. So as we kind of move and change this around, you'll see all these different colors just come to life. It's pretty cool. The base is a turquoise base to it, so that's the predominant color, but that's pretty cool. This guy here is your basically overloaded, triple-coated sparkle, silver sparkle. I'm calling it the silver, the silver bullet sparkle, you know, because it's just, man, it's just right there in your face. Yeah. So anyway, in going with the Maverick series, they have 2 different models. One that uses the vintage brass barrels for the saddles, and one that uses the more modern 6-saddle approach. And so I decided to use one of each just to kind of see how they go. And from a playability standpoint, I personally, we'll see if Dave has any input on those, but I personally can't tell any difference. From a luthier's perspective, I like having 6 individual saddles. It's a lot easier to set intonation and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a personal choice, and we could go either way with these models. Okay, the real beginning of the tonal variety of these guitars is the Freeway 10 position, 5 standard positions with 3 pickups, and then you go into the upper bank and you get 5 more. That gives you 3 serial connections between different pickup combinations like humbuckers, and it gives you other combinations you normally don't get. So you get humbucker series that way. In this one you get all 3 pickups in parallel. Then you get the 2 outer ones in series like a humbucker, and then you've got the 2 outer ones in parallel, which you normally don't get on a 3 pickup guitar. Then you get the middle and the neck in the series / humbucker type style. So you'll definitely notice a warmth in the series, and then that classic single coil. So that is the beginning foundation of all the tonal variety that we're getting out of here, and Dave will go through those different tones for you. The next thing on our tonal variety is on the volume switch. Okay, we've got a variable resistant treble bleed on there. So if you're one of those ones that don't like a treble bleed at all, you can turn that dial all the way back underneath the pickguard, and then when you roll off the volume, it'll basically become a darker tone to it. If you like the treble bleed, you can adjust it to the point at whatever point so that when you roll off the volume, it doesn't lose any of the tonal quality because the treble frequencies are allowed to bypass and go directly to the output jack.
Amazing.
So you can adjust that to your playing style. The tone pot is more than just a tone pot.
Yeah, it definitely is.
If you roll it off counterclockwise, it acts like a traditional tone pot, and it'll darken up things, kind of pull out maybe some of the too edgy highs and kind of make it just a nice, clean, warm tone to it. However, sometimes you want to create that extra little bite, or sometimes you want to clean up that humbucker sound just a little tiny bit that's maybe getting just a hair too muddy in there. In that case, this is a push-pull pot. You pull that up and you rotate, and as you rotate it, it basically bleeds off the mid to bass frequencies, really thinning out the tone and preserving the high frequencies. So it really creates other different, very useful and very playable sounds to kind of craft your signature tone. It's pretty cool.
Way cool.
All right, so that's that. Now I will tell you, the push-pull pot benefits from the fact that we have our own Maximum Guitar Works custom BTS knobs on here. The BTS and the BTT knobs, if you haven't seen those, look at my other videos and you'll see it. It's a contour, an hourglass contour to shape the pads of your fingers will comfortably fit in to allow very easily pulling that up and down and engaging that. Much different if you've ever tried a push-pull pot on a classic Strat with that top hat style and your fingers keep slipping off and you end up trying to grab your fingernails underneath the knob in order to pull that up.
Yep.
Much easier to use, and it's very comfortable. It's made out of eco-friendly brass, okay, lead-free brass that has a density much greater so that it's harder to machine, but it takes the plating better and it gives just a really solid feel to it. And this, I will tell you, I've got many comments from people who have purchased my knobs and put on their guitars. They say that it makes the potentiometers feel like they're higher quality, that they move smoother, you know, because of that nicely weighted knob to it. So there's a feature there. Now these come with 3mm holes in the top for a do-it-yourself dot matching to your color theme. Of course, I happen to do that on these guitars. So I've got black dots in these, and on those I actually have glow-in-the-dark.
No kidding.
Yep, luminescent dots on those. I figured that would be a kind of a cool thing for darker environments to have those light up.
That's way cool.
Yeah, so we've got that on those knobs as kind of a custom thing. The craziest thing that's on these guitars, and that I put on a lot of my custom guitars, is a 30 decibel MOSFET boost, clean boost circuit built into these guitars. This is the gain control right here for that. And this is pretty much at a unity position when it's all the way counterclockwise, although when you turn it on you'll hear it get a little bit brighter, which I kind of like because it kind of gives that little biting edge when you need it. And then if you roll that up and the boost switch is engaged, you will get, in like a clean amp mode, you will get unbelievable volume that will push that amp to the tubes and going in harmonic distortion that just sound beautiful, but I'm telling you, it gets loud. If you do that, use a compressor in your pedal board, and that will kind of help tame that overall volume, but still give you the juiciness of the harmonics that you're getting out of that amp. And up here is the on-off switch with the, you'll see as we get going. Do you have yours plugged in?
Yes, I do.
Yep, it's got a matching basically LED, blue on that one, white on this guy. So you'll be able to see when it's on, and that also acts as a battery indicator. If that starts getting dim, you know that it's time to replace that battery. It does have a stereo output jack on there, so when it's not plugged in, it's not drawing any battery. So make sure you disconnect it when you're not playing the guitar for sure to save that battery life.
It's great.
Yeah. When the switch is in the off position, it's actually a true bypass. When it's off, it's totally out of the chain. There's no influence of the boost circuit whatsoever in that. So that's a good thing for most people too. A lot of your pedals are designed that way. Yep. And I might as well talk about the output jack while I'm here there.
I was going to bring it up because that's a very cool feature.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough to get the standard Switchcraft, you know, $3 output jack with the prongs on there that sometimes bend and get loose. And I use this proprietary jack that is made by a company that basically makes components for the audiophile community. Really high-end type stuff, and they've made this barrel jack that has no prongs on it. It's one solid barrel, and in my case it's a TRS, 3 connection points. In a standard guitar it would be a TS for 2 connection points, but 3 connection points for the battery on here, and it's so solid getting in there that you will never ever have an issue with that becoming loose. I mean, it takes a little bit of a grip to get it back out.
It's true.
You won't step on a cable and accidentally pull it out, I don't think, either.
Nope. Nope, not unless you're 700 pounds.
Yeah. So it is a high-end output jack that I've not seen on too many other guitars, certainly no production guitars for sure. Yep. Okay, all my guitars come with strap locks, the Dunlap series strap locks built in. Now these are external. I also do the flush mount versions depending upon what people want. I kind of like the flush mount, but I found that there's a lot of people that would just rather use a standard strap that they can throw on. So I made these in the external button so it can take a standard or it can take the strap lock mechanism. You know, either one you can use them. So they're a little bit more versatile than the embedded flush mount receptacles. I should also mention the actual switch itself.
Yeah.
The switches are actually custom made for us out of the largest switch manufacturer in the world. And they're made because I wanted a big meaty mechanism on there. These things have like a life of over 1 million. I just reduced it by about 5 or 10 throws in it. They will hold up for a long time. And there's some extra features or extra techniques that you can use this switch for that I showed Dave a little earlier, and he may demo that for you, that kind of requires it to have a pretty meaty, substantial switch that's going to hold up over a long period of time. The finish on these guys, I think you can agree, Dave, is pretty amazing.
Oh.
It is smooth.
Very smooth.
Smoother than glass. People say smooth as glass. It's smoother than glass.
Nice, man.
It's dead flat. I'm using a polyester type outer coat on these, and that's what you really need in order to build up enough to cover all of the metallic flakes, okay? Because if you sand through the metallic flakes, you lose the pop of the sparkle finish. So you need to do that, and polyester is one of the hardest finishes that you can get, so it's still gonna translate the tone that it needs to out of the woods but give you the aesthetics that I was going for in these guitars.
That's great.
Yeah. And talking about the pick guards, I tried a lot of different things on these, but I was trying to come up with something that was a little bit unique. So on the Silver Bullet Sparkle guitar, I went with a carbon fiber, 2mm carbon fiber that I cut to obviously the shape, and then I clear coated with a couple coats of a UV water-based, super clear, super transparent, won't yellow over time finish on there, and so that gives the classic hot rod, you know, silver sparkle a kind of a modern flair. So it's really kind of pulling in those 2 different time periods on it. On the TSS Nelly guitar, I went with a brushed aluminum pickguard. Now ultimately I'm going to have these anodized, but I wasn't ready to outsource an anodizer to have that done, so I just clear coated this to kind of lock in that brushed aluminum look and protect it from any type of oxidation and things like that. So again, really sharp, clean look, but again, a little bit over the top of what would be standard. I think the standard pick guards will be fine on some of the production models.
Yep.
In different various colors, but for these, kind of being more prototype-ish, they had to be over the top, and that's what they are. Working up the neck, both of these guitars have synthetic opal. markers to it. Now I'll show you some close-up imagery as we go through this, and you'll really be able to see some of the glare and glinter of the opal. But this one's got kind of blues and purples and aquas, and the actual dots drove the color of the guitar.
Oh yes,
You know, because it just stood out so much. I said, I've got to match that with the guitar body.
you got to see this in person too, because I walked into the shop. I was like, that is beautiful. It's just incredible, man. I love how it turned out. The color of it is stunning.
Yeah.
Jumps right off the fretboard.
Yeah, that's that synthetic opal. It's very iridescent. In fact, the side dot markers are matching, 2mm side dot markers. And same on this one. This is a lighter color. It pulls in some greens and blues and oranges, and very lighter because it kind of just goes with a lighter color body theme a little bit here. And again, the matching side dot markers of the same synthetic opal. The truss rods on both of these two guitars are titanium truss rods. Now, I originally put those in because I was worried about the exotic wood necks getting too heavy, so I wanted to lighten up the weight a little bit. Turns out I'm not sure if that was really a valid concern because of how much componentry and the Strat-ish big massive block for the tremolo function of these Maverick series Super V Telly style trem guitars. It really offsets it nicely. But that's why I did that. Now these are super high end that were custom made out of Japan. And I normally use a high-end stainless steel that comes out of upstate New York. So either one of those are perfect solutions for these. The frets themselves are stainless steel.
Great.
Okay, so they are as hard. I mean, I tell a lot of my students, I said, stainless steel will take you about 3 times longer to level and crown and polish, but they will last a lifetime. I seriously have guitars that are over 20 years old that I've played on a regular basis with stainless steel factory frets that look like they're brand new, that have no signs of wear whatsoever. So this is something that will certainly save money in the long term, but the durability of these are just amazing.
It's awesome.
When we go all the way up to the neck itself, we've got the Hipshot open back locking tuners. I love locking tuners.
Me too.
Especially with a trem guitar, but really anytime. It's so much easier to load and replace. And the open back from Hipshot are the only ones in the locking series that they offer. And by the way, I think Hipshot are just the top notch. I think they're the best out there. That's my opinion, and that's why I use them. But these are the only ones that are an 18:1 tuning ratio, which is my personal preference. I like that extra resolution that you get out of 18:1 as opposed to 14 or 12:1. And of course, we've got the TUSQ brand nuts, black and the white on this one here. So again, highly proven, reliable nuts for your guitars is what I used here. Everything on these instruments is top notch.
One of the things that I love, Steve, is the sparkle covers on these pickups. Is that something that you made, or is that something that came?
That could be a trade secret.
Oh, I guess. Oh, maybe we should not cover.
No, seriously, Rio Grande offers sparkle finishes in many of their lines in various colors, and I purposely ordered sparkle ones because I'd never gotten the sparkle pickup covers from Rio Grande before, and I had an idea of the metal flake finish guitar, so I said, well, why don't I get those and do a silver metal flake and just see how that works, and it works well.
It works like a dream. It was one of the things that caught my eye from an aesthetic perspective. I just thought that was so cool, especially up against that carbon fiber.
Yep.
It pops out and ties in the whole guitar finish and all that stuff. It looks awesome.
Yeah. One of the questions I want to ask Dave of Rio Grande pickups, the owner, is, basically, can I get blanks of these and then finish them to whatever color? If I was doing Barbie blue and I wanted it to match,
that's cool.
Then I could maybe spray those and finish them to the exact same matching color. And I'll look to do that for the higher turbo series Nelly guitars for sure.
Really cool, man.
Is that enough features for you? Are you still with me? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Because I think what you want to hear is Dave play.
Yeah.
And so let's kind of roll into that right now and let him walk through all the different tonal positions and features and see what we can get out of these, and he'll do one then the other so you can kind of compare the pickup differences, and he'll talk for what he hears just in case it doesn't come through YouTube as well, and then he'll jam out a little bit to give you just ideas of the possibilities. And again, these two at the date of this filming are not sold, so if you're interested, let me know.
Yes, and you're gonna love them, I guarantee it. I've been playing for an hour on these things this morning, and I'm literally frothing at the mouth. So this is great stuff, incredible quality. So good job on these, Steve.
Thanks.
Really good. Okay, Steve, what I'd like you to do, maybe we can tag team on this,
okay,
where we'll start in the standard positions here, and you can just talk through the configuration and how it's all interacting in terms of the pickups.
Okay.
And then I'll just do a predictable lick just so you can hear all the differences and how the different pickups sound with those. Does that sound okay?
Okay, so first position is going to be in the neck position, the lower bank, and that is going to be very traditional 3 pickup single coil design. So that's strictly the neck S style pickup. Yep. The next position would then be the middle and the neck. All right, and then the middle position obviously is the middle. The next position would be the bridge with the middle in parallel. And then the final in the lower bank would be just the Telly bridge pickup. All right, and then we move to the upper bank, and starting back on the bridge side, we have the beginning of the series combination. So the first position will be the bridge and the middle wired in series. The next position is a unique one that you normally don't get on 3 pickup single coil guitars, and that's all 3 pickups in parallel. And then the middle position is the second series, and that is the outer pickup, so the neck and the bridge in series. And the next one is the 2 outer pickups again, except in parallel.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds real good. And then the last one was to be the last of the series, and that's the middle and the neck. You notice all the series are a little bit darker in tone, okay, just like humbuckers are, and all the other features on these guitars, the tone and the boost, all those will combine to really shape and craft those to be super sweet.
Absolutely. Sounds awesome. Okay, now Steve, one thing that we have to make sure we get in is this push-pull knob.
Right.
We have to make sure that that happens. So I'm going back to the original series.
Okay.
Right here at the neck. Now I'm going to just dial this back just, maybe quarter of the way. Such a cool, the tone options are literally endless. It's unbelievable with these selectors, 10 options there, but then the push-pull knob,
Yep.
We haven't even got into the
boost.
boost yet,
Yeah.
which is so cool. Okay, I'm just gonna go through these.
Yeah, try that one. So just the bridge single coil with the low frequencies turned all the way off.
Okay.
Hear how thin it gets, and it's just again, it's a unique sound for maybe just that certain song.
Totally. Then you can just bring it all back in. So cool, man. So cool. Crazy, man.
It's endless.
Yes, it is. We could go all day long with
Yeah,
this
this
stuff.
could be an hour-long video,
Yes.
seriously, because there's so much that you can do.
Yeah.
Let's move into the boost.
Okay, let's do it.
What I'd like to show is that when the boost gain knob is all the way in the counterclockwise position, and you have a clean channel and you engage that, the sound will get a little brighter. Okay, it really is kind of good to cut through the mix, you know, in the live setting or in a studio recording and stuff like that. But that's just the beginning of it. And then as you start turning that up, that 30 potential decibels of gain increase is all there, and it's either going to get overly loud unless we're running it through a compressor.
Yes.
And it's going to push that amp to really this cool distortion, or if you stack that on top of a gain structure, that the drive, you know, pedal or the drive channel of the amp will then act as a compressor, will keep the overall volume the same, but the saturation of frequencies and
Thick.
tones and overtones are just out of this world and sustain. It's almost like a sustainiac. You can almost do left hand only because it's just sustaining and sustaining in a crazy, but could be very musical way.
It could be really cool. Okay, so here's a strum without it on, and I'm here in the neck position. Okay, I'm going to switch it on, and I'm just going to barely turn it up. Now that is not compressed. So same exact setting, just with a compressor. It's crazy, man.
It's pushing the amp to that overdrive. There was no drive pedal or distortion in the amp other than what the boost is pushing the amp to naturally do.
That's right, I've got a whole pedal board here. None of that stuff is engaged. That is just all in the circuitry, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Here's what I want to explain. Okay, I will tell you, I got my inspiration a little bit from Matt Bellamy of Muse. He plays a guitar and he's got a fuzz factory built into it.
Yes.
That he can kind of tweak and massage those settings as he's playing in real time and make that really over-the-top effect very musical. Okay, and I was thinking, man, what other effect would be that kind of useful? And I thought, there's no pedal board by any playing musician I know that does not have a boost.
It's true.
Okay, and so I said, what if the player had the control of that boost rather than just an on-off, but a gain right at his fingertips that he could adjust? I figured that was going to be one of the most significant tools that a real creative person could utilize to make some distinct style in their music. But for me, it's just fun.
It's just pure joy is what that is. Yeah, man, it's just crazy.
Now do that through a gain channel. You got a good distortion pedal?
Sure do. It's not a real heavy one, but yeah, man, sounds crazy. And then you can just gain that up after. Crazy. Then you put it to a different pickup. Just super thick. Go over to humbucker. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. The sustain is a thing that I find when you stack the drive and you add all of that boost, the sustain and the overtones, I'm not sure if it all comes through the YouTube, but all those overtone frequencies that you never hear. It's like I have guys sit down and play one of these guitars that I've added that boost circuit to, and they play it, and then it's almost like you turn it off and you're going through your normal settings and it just doesn't sound good anymore.
That's so true. Do you want to hear an example of the sustain?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. We won't go for 5 minutes because it probably could sustain for about 5 minutes. This is all the way turned up. Do you want me to use one of these pedals? Okay.
Stack it on the gain.
Okay, great. Here we go. Ready? So on and so forth. I mean, it just goes and goes.
And if you're looking for feedback, this thing will feed back like you can't imagine. I mean, you could go all day with that feedback and the tremolo and kind of working that and doing that rock and roll thing.
Yes.
And it's kind of fun too.
Oh, that's way cool.
All right, is it time to switch to the other guitar?
Let's switch it up.
Okay, so that's everything with Nelly TSS, the Barbie Blue Sparkle Nelly guitar that is available for sale at this time. And we are going to now plug in the TST version of Nelly and let Dave run through similar things and then start rocking out.
All right. Well, let's have Steve walk us through each one of these positions again.
Okay, so same thing is we've got the neck pickup alone, and that is a Telly style neck pickup. Okay, and then we've got the middle, which is an S Strat type with the Telly neck. All right, then we'll move just to the middle position. The next would be the Telly bridge with the middle single coil. That one's definitely got some snap to it.
It does, man. You can. It's fun.
Yeah. And then the last one on that bank would be the bridge pickup by itself. That's got good bite to it.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. All right, going to the upper bank again, we're doing the first series, the bridge in the middle in series. All right, and then this would be all three pickups in parallel. And then the next position would be the two outer pickups, so the neck and the bridge in series.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then the next one is the two outer pickups again, but in parallel. That one's cool too.
That is way cool.
And then the last position there is the middle and neck pickup in series.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. The tone will work the same with the different things. The boost is exactly the same in the functionality. So, I mean, I think really you're ready just to start jamming out some and see what these are capable in the hands of a real musician.
Well, we'll see about that. Okay, this is with nothing. I don't have compressor. I don't have delay or reverb. I'll add those in later, but for right now. Okay, we'll add a little bit of some grit into here. So that's just with this King of Tone analog, man, but let's just boost in and we'll start wearing it, or we'll start easing in this incredible boost deal. Here we go. Let's just boost it up a little bit. Let's go a little bit more, because we can, Steve.
We can.
We can go more. Here's if you want a compressor with it. Here's without it. Listen to this thing howl. Here we go. Just crazy, man.
Yeah.
So fun. Here's without the compression. Just awesome.
Is that full on the boost?
That is not even full. This is full. It was almost full, but now it's going to be full on. That's crazy, man. That's just unbelievable. So it's cool because you don't have to go the full-on 30 decibels. You'll probably drive every sound guy like up the wall. Yeah, I got your levels set. Okay, perfect. All of them are like, yeah!
You don't have to turn me up. I'll turn me up.
I got this one. Thanks, sound guy. So anyway, super cool feature, man. Incredibly versatile. And even from a tonal perspective, you know, maybe you like that country type of vibe, you know. And maybe you like that, you know, kind of that classic rock vibe, you know. You know, it's just cool. It's just got some great versatility. Some of this jazz stuff. So
that's clean.
yeah, it's super clean. And I was just messing around with one pickup, you guys. I mean, seriously, there's 9 more to choose from. So anyway, very versatile guitar. Whether you're playing in a, you know, by yourself in your studio, or you got some guys over to jam, or if you're playing at a house of worship, or if you're hanging out in a bar or doing whatever. I mean, this thing is incredibly versatile. You will absolutely love it. I'm falling in love currently. It's just so beautiful, Steve. Great job, man.
Hey Dave, man, you got something on the board that'll kind of add to the guitar features and give it more of that rock, you know, kind of hardcore, you know, dirt
Yes.
kind of thing?
I will try my very best. Okay, here's...
That's awesome. If you had more hair, it'd be good to.
I used to, man. I used to have more hair, but it's all migrating into other places, which I'm sure is true for most of us.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap up this demo, and you should got a really good comprehensive overview of all the features and all the functions and all how they come together and how they sound and how it plays. It's just, they're amazing.
Spectacular. Steve, excellent work. As an artist, just fabulous. I love the neck. I love everything about it, man. Like seriously, you put so much excellent effort and intentionality into both of these guitars. I literally am blown away. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. And remember, these two are still available at the date of this filming. Let me know if either of you are interested. Dave, tell people how to listen to more of your music.
Oh yeah, if you want to check out some of my music, my wife and I are a singer-songwriter duo, so you can just search on any streaming platform for Mountain City. That's one word, Mountain City. And you can also look at us online at mountaincitymusic.com.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for coming over and helping me out.
Thank you, Steve. Great to see you, buddy.
All right. We'll see you.
See ya.
All right. Till next time, remember, no matter what you do, start with excellence.